All right, Doug. Carlos, ready, I guess?
Yeah, no, ready. Just look, I know it's cold and we had the weather advisory today, so thank you guys for coming out. Really, for the players, it's really important. I think, like the first day, a player like this coming to the club and seeing the media turnout on, he understands that, we had to cancel some stuff and move stuff around to the stadium, so it's cool that, we get numbers like this, especially on a day from the Atlanta media. So that's enough of me buttering you guys up. Now, you guys will hammer me throughout the season and we're ready to go.
That guy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead and start with a question that we ask you every transfer window. Has the club received any bona fide offers for Thiago Almada?
No, so I'll handle that. One and the same, like we always do. But so look, we've gotten a lot of interest in him. Obviously, you guys have seen some of the rumors. That stuff is flattering. We've not gotten an official offer for him or anyone else in the club. And what we'd like to do, going forward with that is, if something concrete starts to happen, we would notify you guys. But at the moment, that's, we get a lot of interest and stuff like that. And, we can't comment kind of every week on each rumor, but we have not gotten anything formal.
Are y'all done in the transfer window, or are you looking to add one or two more players?
Hopefully we'll be able to announce another one that I think you guys are pretty aware of in the next day or so. And then after that, most likely one more that would be potentially rounding out our squad. So we'll see when that happens. There's not necessarily a rush on that right now, but we feel good. We've gotten to a point where we have pretty much our whole squad complete. In the first week of preseason, which we're excited about. It's interesting for us this year. We're not in a Champions League competition, so we have a chance to have our whole squad together, gel in preseason, and then hopefully get off to a good start. While some of the other clubs are battling with multi competitions, ultimately where we want to get back to.
It looks like, going back to when we spoke with you in December, I think it was, that y'all were able to fulfill all the wants in the transfer window for this upcoming season. Is that correct? And just how would you describe y'all's approach to this transfer window and just the results you've gotten so far?
Yeah, we're really happy with where we are right now at this stage. Now, look, we need to make sure everybody gels. Stian coming in, adapting to the league, adapting to the back line. He has played in multiple countries, but every league's different, right? So hopefully he can hit the ground running like the other guys did in the summer as well. So we feel good about that. The approach has been the same. We have our process. I think we feel really good about our process at the moment. And each kind of year, each window, we feel like we're slightly improving and slightly adjusting to modify, to minimize minimize errors really, and get what we want to get. So we feel really confident about it. But the team has to get on the field and gel.
Carlos, can you talk about the Miles Robinson situation? I don't need to speak for him in terms of how he felt personally, but did his decision surprise the club at all? Did you expect him to move to another MLS team?
Yes and no. I mean, in all honesty, not really move to another MLS team. But Miles is great. We had a excellent dialogue throughout the process. Even the day before he was gonna, before he was gonna announce he was going to Cincinnati, he reached out to me and just thanked us for the club, personally, collectively, his time here. Loved Atlanta, loved everything. So we've had that relationship with him since the beginning. He wanted to try something new, and we respect that. So it's been good. There was obviously interest in him overseas in the summer. We ended up making the decision to try to push for the playoffs and go and try and win it, rather than take a nominal fee for him and lose a player of his stature in the summer. So we made that decision as a club, and I think it was the right one. And we're okay. He ended up choosing somewhere different, and we wish the best for him. I hope he gets back in with the national team and has a chance to compete in this next World Cup, because it was pretty heartbreaking for him to miss that last one where he was probably going to be a starter. So no, we wish the best for him, and great kid. We were really fortunate to have him as our first draft pick, and we'll see him again soon.
Sam?
To follow up on that, Cincinnati gave him a one-year deal with a one-year option. Were those terms ever discussed with Miles? There was obviously a contract on the table, but we wanted to
No, that short-term deal for us was not discussed. We wanted a longer-term deal and, something to solidify our defense and have something to build around. And, so that's okay. They had other thoughts on that, and that's kind of, how the business goes.
Y'all bringing Stian to replace him, another League Two signing. What about League Two, in y'all's opinion, translates to MLS and allows those players to be successful?
Yeah, it's I know I've seen a few articles that we're mining the talent out of League Two lately, but it's not anything specific. We have enjoyed how Zonde and Tristan have translated, of course, to over here. That League One, League Two, it's a physical league, very athletic. Tactically, these guys are very, very intelligent. And the price points as well are something that we can afford within our salary caps, and we feel like we're getting a quality player for, the price is right, so to speak, right? So, but obviously we'll be announcing, some more players from different countries. So it's just happened to be some of the situations have worked out. It's from there. We're not specifically targeting just League Two with the countries we cover and all the different platforms we have to get the information. Our data's coming in. I mean, we were looking at guys from probably 14, 15 different countries, for the holding midfielder and center back position through this window. So.
Doug and Justin.
Is the club going to buy down Saba's contract to open up a DP slot, number one? And number two, the loans for Ibarra, I don't know if the Sosa one is official yet, but do they include kind of easy to hit purchase options for the clubs that those players are going to?
Getting all the business done. So I'm gonna need to ask you to repeat the first part of that.
Yeah, buying down Saba's contract.
No. So we're not sure yet. So it's really just it's an accounting mechanism situation that we'll probably have 3 to 4 guys that ultimately will make a decision on for that accounting mechanism to buy down. So that's not been decided yet. But obviously we have Gigi and Thiago as the 2 DPs, and then we'll make a decision close to roster compliance, which is right before the first game, on that accounting mechanism. And then did you have one more before Ibarra and Sosa?
No.
So just with those 2, we hope Sosa to be finalized today or tomorrow. It's been kind of ongoing for him, and then Ibarra has been finalized, obviously. So they both have options to buy for purchase prices. Yeah.
And are they easy to hit options, or are they?
It's in the eye of the beholder. No, it's a pretty standard loan with an option to buy, similar to everywhere around the world.
Okay.
Justin and Sam.
Hey Carlos, one more Miles question for you. He's hinted or kind of said that the playing surface was a factor in his decision to move teams. First of all, is that something that he indicated to you guys as a factor in wanting to move?
He did not indicate that to me. So I don't know. You read various things. Again, I don't want to speak for him. He was really complimentary of us. He was excellent on his way out. Told us what was kind of happening. So like that, we had a lot of respect for that and everything he did for the club when he was here. So I don't know on that.
It's been obviously a factor from the start being on the turf. Has it, continued to be something that comes up with free agents who come over here? Is it a concern? Is it the same as it's always been?
It's not really a concern. So Stian is a good example. Was speaking to him, and when we're on the Zoom, and Jonathan went over and met with him and in Bordeaux and make sure they were having those conversations in person and talking. And then when I met with him on Zoom, as we're going along the process, said, hey, like just so you're aware, we play on turf in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and he was like, yeah, why are you talking about that, so to speak? And it was more, he was like, I grew up in Norway and played in Sweden, play on turf. It's not, it's not a big deal. Lorient in league, in France plays on turf, so it's not anything different really. I don't know if it's a preference, but it's never been a hindrance for us to bring someone here because of the surface.
Sam, then, I'm sorry, Justin, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I'll come.
Sam, then Joe.
Apologies for this, I have a roster rules question. The U22 loans, do those mean that the U22 spots are now open? And is it waiting on that U22 spot?
No, so good roster rules question. It is complicated. It's honestly, we go back and make sure we double check ourselves as well. But no, it's not opening up. It's not opening up the U22 spot. And at the moment, we don't have we're not going to be pursuing that for this window, most likely. But excuse me, we won't be pursuing it for this window. But let's see in the future if we end up selling these guys on, and we'll evaluate it. So, but
Joe and Doug.
Carlos, when I don't know when you would have found out that you had an opportunity to sign Dax McCarty, but how important is it for you to have a player like him in the squad? Because you've had guys like Ozzie Alonso, these kind of veteran players before. Was that an area of the team that you felt needed to be addressed in this window?
Yes, it wasn't purely for a leadership reason for Dax. I think that's a nice intangible that he brings. It's a great intangible that he brings. Locker room, he likes to talk the game. He's a winner, he's a competitor, knows the league, been around, been at multiple clubs. So I think that's excellent to have him be a part of it. But we also looked at last year and like, what has he done on the field in his last 2-3 years? And he's still getting over 1,500 minutes and competing and playing in important games for Nashville and Leagues Cup finals. And so he still has some stuff to give. And the conversation was, hey, we are going to be signing another probable starter in the midfield. What does that look like for you? And I get it. He wants to come in and compete. He's pushing that player. Sometimes he plays. He wants to show the coach he's going to find his way on the field. So it's great. It's great to have guys like that in the team. And just I think overall we've gotten multiple leaders. I think across the positions, and so that was a goal of ours. So we didn't bring Dax in just to be kind of a leader in the locker room. We want him to contribute on the field, and while he's pushing the other guys, also helping Johnny and some of the other youngsters.
Can I just follow? Do you have a relationship with him? Even he's just kind of been around the league forever. He's one of those kind of guys. Were you familiar with him, I guess, before?
Yes, he came into the national team at a young age, and I think he got a few camps, maybe a cap when towards the end of my career with the national team. But yeah, he's one of those guys. He's a good dude around the league, and I think everybody enjoys him. And we're happy to have him be a part of the team.
Yeah, I bet 3. I'll ask them one at a time rather than bundle them all up together. Gonzalo is entering the last year of his guarantee portion of his contract. What are you looking to see from the team this year for that option for next season to be exercised?
Yeah, we haven't even discussed that yet, Doug. I mean, right now, look, we thought we had a really good ending to last season. We thought we were hitting our stride. Unfortunately, came up against a Columbus team that was, they were better than us at that moment, and they went on to win the league, right? But we feel if we maybe matched up with someone different in the playoffs, the end of our season is a little bit different. So we're feeling good about our stride. Obviously, looking to correct some of our defensive challenges that we had last year, and have a bit more balance. Obviously we scored the second most goals in the league, and we were flying high. Now we got to find that balance, and I think we did some stuff to address that this off season in this window, as well as that's going to be one of the focal points of preseason with him and his team. And I think he's Thursday or Friday. You guys will have a chance to kind of speak to him about that.
What was your reaction to MLS not really changing a lot of the roster acquisition rules and mechanism rules for this season?
I don't know, man. It's okay. It's the same for everybody. We all have to deal with it. It's challenging to get players into this league, and so it's just something you fight through.
Okay. And last one, do you have any contract extension or offers out to any current players on the team to extend or anything?
We've not had any contract extension talks with anybody right now. So big focus for us is just we've got mainly our group together, right? We should have kind of our group by the end of this week, minus maybe one player. And we're focusing on preseason, and we think we have a good chance to start the season off on a really good foot and pick up some momentum. So that's kind of the goal right now.
In your statement on Steven when he signed, you talked about him being a consistent performer across multiple leagues, comfortability, defending space behind him. Was there a top trait or part of his game that you were very high on? Could you even describe that?
No, I mean the statement was one of the things we highlighted. I think you asked him or somebody else asked him, and that was kind of the same stuff that he gave back to you guys, right? So he's got that ability to cover space and behind. So no, we liked everything about him. He's consistent. We want him to help organize. We want him to help tactically understanding the game, reading it, helping the players around him. organized than people in front of him, defending and winning duels, bringing some aggression. So, those are the expectations that we have out of him. And when we're talking on the Zoom, that's what we shared back and forth, what we'd like to see out of him.
Joe, Justin, Bailey, Sam, just one.
Can you talk about Josh Cohen and kind of what you expect of him, maybe what you hope for him, and just in general, how you see this goalkeeping situation, obviously, with Brad?
Yeah, so Josh is someone that we followed him for a few years. I think you guys were aware of that as well. He was playing in Champions League, Europa League over out of the Israeli league, right? And they did a good job qualifying for those competitions. So I got a chance to go watch him in Champions League game over there and see him perform. He's a good shot stopper. He's a good kid. His journey is really fantastic, and how he got over there and kind of backed himself. So really the thought was, we want to bring him in and try to compete for the number one. And so we've been clear with him and Brad about that. And, we need someone to come in and compete for the number one. And we think Josh has that ability. And so we'll see. We've got training camp coming up here. I can't believe I just said training camp. We've got preseason. I'm so Falcons football. We've got preseason coming up here where, these guys, all the players are going to be competing for their spots. We feel good about our depth, not only there, but now, in the midfield, defensive, Derek Williams coming in, right, in the defense, across the front kind of three positions with 6 players, 7 players. We feel pretty good about that. And so we want everybody coming in, and it's competition in preseason.
Justin,
I know you're still finalizing the roster and you've one training session in, but this is a team that's never shied away from the highest of high expectations. What should supporters' expectations be for the club this year?
High as usual. I think, we have that ambition to go out and win a title. I think, we've talked about finishing in the top 4, and when we say finish in top 4, it's not just like, we want to kind of finish in the top 4 and that's it. Finish in the top 4 obviously gets us, at least a series of home field advantage, and you saw how, we gave it to Columbus here at our home place. They gave it to us there. So it's pretty important in the playoffs, and especially for Atlanta, historically we've done very well at home. So finishing in that top 4, being consistent throughout the year, but we want to go out and compete for a championship, and we think we have a group to do that, but we have to go prove it.
Before the playoffs last year, I talked to Gigi, and he made the comment that he felt that this team was in a transitional phase, just with the new faces, and trying to build on that camaraderie on the field. I'm curious, do you agree with that sentiment from last season? And going off what you just said of being the top 4, what do you feel like needs to happen on the field to kind of take it to another caliber?
Yeah, I think he was pretty spot on with that. When we started the season, we felt pretty good about the team. Obviously going through, and we had to make some tough choices and really, make some changes in the summer, and we felt like that really helped us. And these guys were starting to click and build momentum into the playoffs. Now you fast forward to this year, we have a whole preseason with these guys. The new guys have been here 6 months. We're probably putting 2, maybe 3 starters in the team. So we have a group that's pretty familiar with each other. We have a group that we think can perform at a high level. They understand the league, and they have a little bit more of the league experience now. So I think that's again why we're pretty excited that we have this whole preseason with our group to prepare and kind of get that carry that momentum into the season.
last 3, Sam, Tyler, Doug.
Wanted to bring back to Josh Cohen. There was a moment within this process, at some point anyway, where the team was accused of violating the discovery rights rules. How can you offer any insight into that one, and how did that relationship prepare itself to get to this point where he was comfortable joining the team?
Yeah, so we have some strange kind of roster rule discovery. You can place players on a list. You have first right of refusal on them. You can negotiate with them, and it's really a mechanism because we're a single entity league. It stops the, say Orlando was in for a player that we're in for, it stops bidding up the price because we're a single entity. So technically they're coming to sign with MLS, and they're assigned to Atlanta. So that's the kind of, the history, so to speak, behind it. So it just, that's not really a normal concept around the world, and I think people get frustrated with that, which is understandable. But it's really to stop a bidding war amongst teams, which you can understand as how our league is structured.
Tyler?
You talked about Dax a little bit.
and potentially somebody else. But what is it that the club was kind of looking for at that number 6 position coming into this season?
Yeah, really just, game intelligence, somebody that can, win the ball, whether it's through tackles, recoveries, interceptions, positioning, protecting that back four. We have the ability with Tristan to play kind of a double pivot. We have the position Tristan can play as a 6 if he wants. He can play, the other player that we should be bringing in, they can play as the single 6. So we wanted that ability to make sure we're protecting the defense, and we talked about balance early on, scoring a lot of those goals. But when we are when we are pressing, the counterattack, someone can snuff that out. But they're intelligent on the ball as well. That when we have, we're building out of the back, that midfield rotation. I think you guys saw when Tristan came into the team last year. I think it was Cruz Azul, his first game, just like to go find the space that's open, and Thiago's so intelligent, and so bringing another player in there that they can they don't have to be just a fixed 6 because we're a possession-oriented team. They need to be mobile, so they're just not receiving it there. They can receive it in space, but they can do the defensive job as well. So that high soccer IQ, that game intelligence, and just kind of that no nonsense. They don't need to be a killer, so to speak, but tackles, interceptions, protecting the back line. I think to my days when I played with Chicago in this league, Chris Armas, who's now coaching Chicago, little guy, but just man, it was so nice playing behind him because he just snuffed everything out and he makes the defenders look good. He was so intelligent, just got his body in the way, makes a tackle when he needs to, but intercepts it, comes back to close and sandwich the defender. So it's just those sort of things are what we looked for to help give the back line some protection so they weren't so isolated. But then on the reverse, they got to be able to handle the ball as well.
Last one, Doug.
2. Was getting the training camp roster set early a priority? It sounds like it was.
Yeah, every year it's a priority. That doesn't always work like that. So this is great. And look, this. Sometimes it just happens like this. So it's nothing that we did any different than last year.
And is Gerson and this soon-to-be named player the only 2 visas that y'all are going to have to try to sort out between now and the end of training camp or preseason?
I believe so. We were able to get Ronald Hernandez got his green card in the offseason, which was really cool for him. Edwin Mosquera's not far off from getting his green card. He'll go in a couple weeks to do that process. So, you have these various things at the beginning of the season. But no, I think that off the top of my head right now, I think that should be what we're dealing with.
And has it gotten any easier, the visa process? Because last year it dragged out for a couple of players.
I think a little bit overall, just in general, kind of getting your passport back a bit quicker, and the whole seems like the government has caught up a little bit since the COVID shutdown. So you never know. These things we don't have an exact kind of timetable on them.
Okay.
All right, thanks everyone. Justin Johannes will get you out to the field, and we should have Yorgos, we said after this training session. Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.